Buenos días, buenas tardes desde Barcelona. Mi nombre es Estel y en representación del colectivo ORIGEN Goal for Future os doy la bienvenida a una nueva edición de los Diálogos sobre Joyería Responsable. Como sabréis, somos un colectivo formado por 9 marcas de joyería y por la ONG Medicus Mundi Mediterránea que trabaja con el objetivo de promover un modelo de joyería responsable. Tal como la entendemos, la joyería responsable tiene muchos elementos, pero sobre todo es aquella basada en la adopción de materiales respetuosos con los derechos humanos y ambientales desde el punto de origen y a lo largo de toda la cadena de suministro hasta que llegan a nuestras manos. Esta edición de los diálogos va a estar centrada exclusivamente en el caso de las gemas de color, coincidiendo con un trabajo de investigación que hemos desarrollado recientemente junto a la geóloga y gemóloga Carmen García Carballido y que os queremos presentar también hoy brevemente. El 90% de las gemas de color proceden de países empobrecidos del sur global y viajan por una cadena de suministro muy opaca, escasamente regulada, en la que intervienen múltiples figuras intermediarias. En la fase de extracción, pero también en la de procesamiento, observamos una serie de problemáticas muy graves en algunos casos que creemos que como profesionales y amantes de la joyería deberíamos conocer como primer paso para poder buscar después otras opciones que nos permitan hacer joyería en una dirección más positiva. Cuando hablamos de problemáticas nos referimos, por supuesto, a los salarios y a los pagos muy bajos que reciben las personas mineras a cambio de las piedras. Hablamos, por supuesto, de trabajo infantil, de casos de trabajo forzado, de las condiciones muy duras y muy peligrosas en las minas que con facilidad pueden derivar en accidentes y en muertes. Y entre otros aspectos también hablamos de afectaciones sobre la salud, de enfermedades respiratorias severas como la silicosis, que es muy frecuente en el proceso de corte y pulido. Esta preocupación y sobre todo la necesidad como colectivo de identificar proyectos de interés desde una perspectiva de joyería responsable es lo que nos ha llevado a desarrollar esta publicación en forma de cuaderno monográfico que hemos titulado Gemas responsables, de la mina a la joya, una aproximación crítica a la cadena de suministro de gemas de color para la búsqueda de alternativas de origen responsable. Esta publicación la tenéis disponible en nuestra página web, en castellano y en inglés. Podéis tomar el enlace en la descripción del vídeo y descargarla gratuitamente. Vamos a ver si os parece un poco por encima en qué consiste. Vemos ahora en pantalla la portada de la publicación. Bueno, nos fijamos un poco en el índice de contenidos y vemos que está estructurada en 6 capítulos. De estos capítulos destacamos sobre todo el tercer capítulo que está dedicado a la fase de minería. En él analizamos la situación de los derechos humanos y los impactos ambientales que se dan en la minería artesanal y de pequeña escala, en la MAPE, pero también en las problemáticas vinculadas a la minería a gran escala, que habitualmente son menos conocidas, pero igualmente graves. Aportamos también en este capítulo algunas reflexiones críticas en relación con el papel de las mujeres en la MAPE y las desigualdades particulares que enfrentan. Y desarrollamos 3 casos de estudio, o sea, son casos en los que hemos querido profundizar un poco más, y que son los zafiros de Madagascar, los rubíes de Mozambique y las esmeraldas de Colombia. Otro capítulo relevante es el cuarto, que está centrado en la fase de corte y pulido. Aquí descubrimos en qué consiste el trabajo de las personas lapidarias y nos fijamos, igual que antes, en las vulneraciones de derechos y en aspectos medioambientales. Cuando hablamos de gemas de color y de diamantes, es muy importante poner atención en lo que ocurre en el momento de la extracción, pero también en la fase posterior de corte y pulido, que igualmente presenta una serie de problemáticas y de vulneraciones de derechos. Finalmente, en este apartado quisimos dedicar también un espacio a hablar de los tratamientos, viendo cuáles son los más comunes y poniendo una atención especial en el tratamiento por irradiación. Hoy no vamos a ahondar en la oscura realidad detrás del mercado de gemas, sino que lo que queremos hacer es enfocarnos en esta parte más positiva y más gratificante de la investigación que nos ha llevado a saber de proyectos de abastecimiento responsable realmente inspiradores. En concreto, vamos a conocer al proyecto VirtuGem de la mano de su maravilloso equipo en una conversación conducida por nuestra compañera Katja Jesek. VirtuGem es una empresa social que comercializa gemas completamente trazables procedentes de minas artesanales de Zambia, Kenia y Malaui, manteniendo el máximo valor posible dentro de las comunidades de origen y priorizando la equidad de género. Veamos cómo. Cedo la palabra a Katia y comenzamos.
Welcome everybody to our dialogue this year on responsible jewelry. And this year our theme is Gemstones. We are organizing expositions and discussions all about responsible gemstones. And also we have organized this incredible happening, this talk with 5 women from VirtuGems to talk about responsible gemstone mining. My name is Katja. I'm a jeweler and my brand is Adoro Mi Oro. I live in Spain and I'm one of the founder and member of the collective ORIGEN Gold for Future. So today we will talk about VirtuGems. It's a social enterprise that markets gems from artisanal mines in Zambia, Kenya, and Malawi. So here we have an incredible panel of 5 women, and I will introduce them. There we have Susan Wheeler. She is one of the co-founder of VirtuGem. And also Jessica Hudson. She is the other co-founder of VirtuGem. And then we have 3 country coordinator. One is called Pauline Mundia. Hello, Pauline. She is the country coordinator.
Oh, hello.
She's from Zambia. Hi, Pauline. Nice to have you here.
Hi.
So we just heard that Pauline is in a very difficult situation as there are many floods and all her place was flooded today. And so we really appreciate and are very thankful that you are still, that you could make it to join us here, Pauline. And I hope that everything will get sorted out soon. And
thank you so much. Thank you.
Yes. And then we have Ashley Simbije. She's the country coordinator from Malawi. Hi, Ashley.
Hello.
Hello, Ashley. So nice to have you here as well from Malawi. And there is Caroline Muchira. She's the country coordinator in Kenya.
Hello.
Hello. So we are really happy for this opportunity for our audience of Spanish speaking. Our audience is Spanish speaking. We mainly address to them. I wanted to start with Jessica. Are you here? Yes.
Yes, I'm here.
So maybe I would like to start a little bit with the context. And Jessica Hudson is a GI graduate. She is also a gemologist, and she is the owner and designer of Vipaka Jewelry. Furthermore, she's also the founder of the initiative The Nomad Jewelry. So she is constantly traveling to promote sustainability and organizes trips and workshops. I think now at the moment you're organizing some trips or workshops to mines in Brazil, as I could read. And you're working very closely with women. So she has dedicated herself to advocating for more trust and transparency within the jewelry industry. As one of the founders of VirtuGems, she helps to facilitate communication between buyers, designers, and cutters. So, to begin with, we'd like you to give us a bit of context on the current mining and colored gemstone market. This is a topic what we have addressed in the booklet that Estelle just has presented before. But we would like to know your point of view as a gemologist and jewelry and activist traveler. What have you found problematic in the gems mining industry? Why have you decided to follow the path towards responsible gems?
That's a very good question to ask. I think essentially I was just drawn to the beauty of gems in general. And that's what kind of got me into the industry. I always loved travel and learning about other cultures. So I did a lot of personal travel and learned about gems along the way. And I think it was really in my traveling and diving deeper into the industry that I really learned just more so some of the negative things, just that there's a lot of greed and there's not much care for the people or the environment. It's not always the case, but I just my eyes were kind of open to that. Again, it was like this, oh my gosh, gems are so beautiful. And then you kind of like dive deep and you're like, whoa, but there's all these things happening that I don't really agree with. So from the beginning, if I was going to stay in the industry, I knew that I wanted to do something different that was, and when I did start getting into things, the whole hype around sustainability was, happening and like green, this like trend of green. And I think more than following that, just kind of following your own moral and ethics and being responsible and doing what felt right. And for me, that was just doing that and like making sure that I knew where my gems came from and where my metals came from. And it's not easy, but I think not just with the jewelry industry, but, other industries as well, like food, you got the whole fair trade and organic. And I think we're just all able to learn more. And as we see what's really happening behind the scenes, you want to do better. So yeah, and I think the jewelry market is turning in that direction.
Yeah, and not long ago, we hardly knew anything, what was behind, what was happening behind. It's only really recently that we have all the information. When you start to dig, you find all this brutality all over the place. And but I remember not so long ago, it was you had no idea what was going on. So yeah, thank you, Jessica.
Yeah.
So Susan Wheeler. Hi, Susan.
Hi, how are you?
Susan is another fantastic jeweler here on board. And she's not only the founder of VirtuGems, but also of many more initiatives which promote changes towards sustainable development in the jewelry sector. And she also works with the Chicago Responsible Jewelry Conference since 2017. That's what I read, more or less. Yeah. No, you're very active in this conference. I've also seen you there.
Yes.
And you, as a funder, you bring your commitment to equitable supply chain and sustainable development to the program. And so VirtuGems is a social enterprise that markets gems from artisanal mining in Zambia and Kenia and Malawi. And tell us about VirtuGems, because we talk about VirtuGems today. And what is VirtuGems? What were the beginnings of the projects? Why do you work with these 3 countries in particular? And what makes your gems different from the VirtuGems different from the conventional ones we usually find on the market?
Well, VirtuGem grew out of response to the COVID shutdown. And we began to create a market for gems when people could no longer go into the countries and buy gems and export them. So we wanted to do a direct supply chain, a direct line to jewelers. And Jess and I, having a background as jewelers, were able to begin that. And we quickly found out that there was a lot of work to be done to build businesses that would be really circumventing all of the other areas in what is a traditional gemstone supply chain. And that would be, you know, one of the biggest things for us was to do cutting in country. And that working on getting cutting up to international standards from source countries, and working on photography and, you know, taking photos of gemstones from source countries, and marketing and all those other steps that usually happen to gems outside of the country where they're mined. So that was really the origin of where we started with VirtuGem. And we are very different, I think, than any other gemstone supplier in the world, because we do just do gemstones that are cut in the source country where they're mined.
That is incredible. Yes,
It's
outstanding, really.
It is the foundation of equity, not to take a natural resource out of the country as a raw material. And the margins that people get when they sell their gems are so much higher than just selling them rough, or even usually cut in country, because we are selling them now at a standard where they're ready to go directly into the international market. So it's about equity. We, as a social enterprise, are members of the UN Fashion and Lifestyle Network, so we're very much committed to all the Sustainable Development Goals.
This is also a very interesting thing. I read about it, what you're doing. Maybe you can also comment on this.
So the UN Fashion and Lifestyle Network is a place for people in all areas of fashion and lifestyle to come together. They're committed to the Sustainable Development Goals. And VirtuGem, with our origins and our focus also on gender equity, makes it very much in line with many of these goals. And the number one Sustainable Development Goal is no poverty. And I also don't think that there are not that many jewelry initiatives that are based on financial equity. And I think that being the number one Sustainable Development Goals shows us how important that is.
Yes.
So that is important to us. It's in our DNA. Right after, very quickly after we launched VirtuGem, we were given our first World Bank grant. We ended up doing, the first World Bank grant was in Zambia. And then the second grant that we were given from the World Bank allowed us to expand into Malawi and Kenya. And it gave us the foundations that I don't think we would have had to build this business otherwise. It assisted with technology, gem light boxes. They funded something called the National Gem Cut, where each country that we worked in, all of the gemstone cutters came together and designed a gemstone that they felt represented their country. And we had workshops where this facet was then optimized. So that was so much fun. And really, I think everyone that did it enjoyed it. And now we have these beautiful gems from each country that in Kenya, it's the cheetah head. In Malawi, it's the mubuna, the famous fish of Lake Malawi. And in Zambia, it's the eagle. And so it was a way where I think we could all celebrate our creativity, and where people had an experience to learn what can be done within the gemstone industry, where they go beyond just following orders or, producing things for somebody else. It really let people spread their wings.
Yes, I've seen the stones of the contest, of the competition you did, and I thought it's an incredible, beautiful project. The things, they have created their own cuts, isn't it? So they are like new cuts which have never existed before, and they are beautiful, really beautiful stones. Was this a unique project, or are you doing this more often? I think it was 2 years ago when you did this competition. and you did this in the 3 countries, or what was it spread to other countries? Because really top, high-class, beautiful cuts, they are beautiful. You can see them, by the way, in the Instagram from VirtuGems. Really beautiful.
They're fantastic, and we invite jewelers to continue to use the national gem cuts, and we will be featuring the jewelers on the website if they want, and showing the different jewelry that's been made, because people also who cut the gems and mine the gems, they love to see what happens too. This isn't a one-way connectivity. For VirtuGem, we're very much about everyone meeting together. And just one other thing that I want to share with that, in VirtuGem, we also share the US pricing model. So we were given by Gem World International colored gem guides that each of our country ambassadors has in their offices. And when they go through gemstones are priced on US markets. So the pricing is a whole part of the equity that we find very important as well.
Yes, yes. So how do you do this with the pricing? How do you transmit it to the minds, to the people, or how do you organize it?
Yes, so we actually we are not a company that goes in and buys gemstones and then we sell them. We're a conduit. And so every person that submits a gem, whether it's the miner, the cutter, or the source country trader, and we work with all of those different levels of selling. And as long as the gems say, if it's from Kenya, it's mined in Kenya, owned by a Kenyan mine, cut by a Kenyan. And if there was a trader, then they have to be a licensed Kenyan trader. So everybody, the person who's submitting that gem for sale, knows how much that gem will sell for, and they are okay with that price. So everything that we have, we do not own. They are still owned by whether it was a trader, a cutter, or a miner that submitted that gem.
Yeah, you work like a platform, really, to market the gemstone.
Yeah.
But apart from this, you're also organizing these projects, like the beautiful one with the competition of the gemstone cutting.
Yes. Yeah.
And what I also found interesting, I mean, you're working with the World Bank. It was the foundation of many projects. Also for the craft code, I think they also played a big role that you got the support from the World Bank. I mean, it's a fantastic that this has happened, no? That you had this support, financial support to launch all these projects and to yes. So the craft code is a very important issue in VirtuGems. So maybe we can just, to the audience here, explain what the craft code is. To me, I always say it's like a certification. What fair mind or fair trade is for gold, the craft code is the certification for gemstones, because it's more difficult to get a certification, as there are too many mines and the market is much more diverse than the gold mining industry. So maybe you can talk a little bit about the craft code, because it's an important issue in your project and should be in all of them.
Yes. So we had one of the other things, the advantages of the World Bank grant that we received was that we could we could hire consultants and experts. And we had Patient Singo, who had already carried out craft in the cobalt mines and DRC, and had done craft also for gold mines. And so he was really the expert to come and craft to create a version of craft code, because there's flexibility in it that brought in equity as far as pay and how to do payments, and gender. But we have all of the foundations of craft code, which he talked about: mine site safety, environmental plans. So all of our countries, all of the mines that we worked with in all of the countries, which I believe was I don't know if I can remember. I think it was 4 actually, I'm not going to say how many number of mines we did because I can't remember right now. So I'm sorry. But everyone, so all of the mines did an environmental plan. We talked about how to bring women into the mines. We gathered data, formalizing the mine, formalizing, you know, the licenses. Do you have permission to mine on this property? Is everything working legally? So all of the mines that we worked on go through that process. And each person, we had virtual workshops because it was during COVID. And then when travel was allowed, each of the country ambassadors would travel to the mines and carry out, go through with the miners and go through with the workers, all of the mine standards, and go through and do the whole checklist. And there were posters handed out to all of the mines, which when we've gone back and visited, everyone was very excited to show us the posters that are about safety, about avoiding wildlife-human conflict. And there were many initiatives. And I think that the thing that when craft was done, when we did it, I was surprised by a few things. One is that a lot of the mines already had environmental initiatives that they were working on. Okay. Like Violet, who has an emerald mine, is very concerned with deforestation, with people coming and getting wood out to have coal. So there was already an awareness of what can we do to prevent this. And one of the other things is that a lot of the workers at the mines embraced the craft code, and they really, there's always something about like safety equipment. People say, oh, people at the mines don't want to have safety equipment. But when everyone went through the workshop themselves to learn the importance of it, then they really embraced using safety equipment.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yes, fantastic. We may later talk a little bit more about the virtue craft with one of your country coordinator. Great. I would like to go on with Pauline Mundia from Zambia. Pauline has over 25 years work experience in the mining sector and has held various leadership positions both in public and private sectors. And she was appointed as the first woman board member of Kariba Minerals Limited. It's the largest Amazon mine in Zambia. And she has also served as a treasurer for the Association of Zambian Women Mining and as a chairperson of Colombo Miners Association. She's also the first woman steering committee member of the World Bank Gemstone project, a secretary general of the Association of Zambian Women in Mining, and currently is the vice president of the Federation of Small Scale Mining Association of Zambia. I hope this is all right, Pauline, what I found out about you.
Yes, actually, right now I'm the chairperson for the Women in Extractive Industry Trade and Value Addition Association of Zambia.
Oh, okay, incredible.
Currently, yes.
Maybe you could briefly explain us the situation in your country and inform us a bit about the gem mining industry, the cutting and trading sector, what role women have there, just to get an idea about your country.
Okay, thank you very much. You know, in Zambia, just like any other African country, mining in general, or maybe I should be specific, the gemstone mining has always been regarded as male-dominated industry. Mm-hmm. But then until in the 70s, one woman got interested and she got a license to be mining emerald. Actually, she was our role model because she was lucky that the mine that she had an outcrop of emerald, so she could not really go deep. Let's say maybe 20 meters or 30 meters for her to get the high grade the emerald. So this woman attracted a lot of young people like us. That time she was actually maybe in her 50s, people, myself and I mean, to also get interested in mining gemstones
Yes.
and also other.
Oh, I think
A number of women are involved in mining gemstones, but I would maybe comfortably say that they should be between 20 to 25% of women who are involved in mining, and then a good percentage of women, around maybe 70%, are traders that are involved in trading various gemstones.
Okay.
But now when we talk about cutting, Zambia, is very much privileged that we have a government gemstone training center, which is based on the Copper Belt. So this training center has has trained a number of youth, both girls and boys, who graduate from that school. They learn how to cut and polish and some basic gemology. And you also have a number of independent cutters. These are the old people, independent cutters all over the country. And this came about because previously in the 80s, the government had established what they used to call the Zambia Emerald, which this company used to cut and polish the emeralds. So eventually this company closed, and when it closed, it was called Zambia Emerald Company, something like that. It was for cutting and polishing.
Yes. So you have a tradition of gemstone cutting.
The government got somebody from Brazil to come and teach the Zambians how to cut.
Oh, this is interesting.
A cut from Zimbabwe. So then from that company, a number of Zambians learned how to cut and polish that company closed. Yes, when it closed, those people who were employed there decided to form their own small lapidaries. And that's the reason why we have got a number of independent cutters throughout the country. But so now in terms of marketing, that's why the problem is we don't really have a domestic market. Those cutters, the domestic market that they have is no. I'll say cutting company was established. The government decided to source somebody from Brazil.
From Brazil.
He came from Brazil to come and teach the Zambians how to cut the emeralds.
And when was this? In the 70s, 80s?
In the 80s.
Okay.
In the 80s.
And since when do you have women gem cutters in
Pardon?
Zambia? Yes. Since when do you have women cutters, gem cutters? When?
When the school, the Ndola Gemstone Processing Lapidary Training Center was established in 2014.
Okay.
So when it was established, So when it was established, then the government decided to train both girls and boys. So that was the time when we had girls trained as cutters. Yes. But then there are few there are few very few cutters, very few girls who are actually absorbed into the industry, but then most of them they end up just as sorters, not as cutters, because when they are trained, they're trained all the way from sorting, grading up to cutting and polishing.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay. And what does the gender equity means in the gem mining industry in Zambia? Why is this so important in your country? What is your focus? What are you doing with the women in your association?
Oh, the women in our...
I've read one sentence. I don't know if it's this from Zambia.
That it is an association which is called Women in Extraction. So we have got miners. We have got miners who mine gemstones, and they also mine minerals. Let's say women who mine gold, they mine copper. Of the women who are miners are actually involved in mining gemstones, and in particular they mine citrine, amethyst, aquamarine, the garnets, and then the emeralds.
And how many women miners are in Zambia? How many percentage are women?
It's 20, between 20 and 25. Before we were 30.
Mm-hmm.
Before it was 30% women, yes. Before it was 30% women. But then when COVID came in, a number of women found it very difficult for them to start mining after COVID.
Okay, so they are less now.
It was not easy for them to go back into mining, to start again.
Mm-hmm.
Because the COVID really affected the mining operations negatively.
Yes, in many countries.
So most of them decided to go into trading.
Oh, okay. So they changed into trading.
Yes.
So they are
and
okay.
And value addition. Those who are into trading, they also work, in conjunction with the cutters. So most of the people who do value addition are the traders who work in conjunction with the cutters. They work together.
Okay, they work together. And what are the challenges you face? What are the face?
The challenges that are there is accessing the high grade material. The challenge is to access high grade stones which can be value added. So most of the women, they produce more of the medium grade because their operations are not mechanized. Yes, they use the picks and shovels, so that does not enable them to go deeper and get the high grade gemstones.
Okay.
And then the other yes, and also the other challenge is that most of the women actually find it very difficult to, especially those who sell rough stones, they don't know how to grade them. So you find that they can have a parcel, but then in that parcel, there is a mixture of facet grade, then there is also cabochon grade. Sometimes they could even be bid. There could be 3 grades, 3 grades in one parcel.
Okay.
See? And now when they sell, when they sell them, in most cases, the buyer will always pay them the price for the bid grades.
Yes, I imagine.
So that's the challenge that they have. Yes.
So they need more training to also know the valuation of the stone. So this is
then they need to know how to grade them, how to grade their stones.
Okay. Okay, thank you, Pauline.
Thank you so much.
I would like to talk to Caroline Muchira from Kenya now. I have a question for you and like to know about your situation in Kenya. I just want to introduce you briefly. You are a gemologist and a gem cutter. And as I could read, you enjoy transforming rough gemstones into beautiful cut stones for jewelry making. And you dedicate a lot of time to train youth and women in Kenya on gemstone identification, on faceting and drilling, on gemstone tumbling, and also basic jewelry making. And this is through the partnership with Kenampan Education Service Foundation. I hope this is all right.
Yes.
So if you like to explain us briefly the situation in your country and about the gemstone mining trading sector.
So in Kenya, gemstones are primarily mined by artisanal miners with very few small-scale miners. So in Kenya, we mine high-quality gemstones such as savarite, rhodolite, blue sapphire, yellow sapphire, green sapphire, ruby, chrome tourmaline, color change garnet, and aquamarine. So most gemstones in Kenya are sold as rough stones. However, we have a growing lapidary industry where more and more cutters are emerging. Most of the faceting machines, actually all of them, faceting and cutting machines, have to be imported from the US, Japan, or China. So it makes it very expensive. We have a number of cutting schools that are starting up in Kenya and a number of established ones in Tanzania, where I learned how to cut in a center called AMGC, which is a center which is run by 8 countries, and Kenya is a member state. So we have many cutters in Kenya who are able to cut and polish to precision. When it comes to trading, the sector in Kenya is regulated by the Ministry of Mining, which issues licenses for mining, trading, and export of gemstones. Many foreign buyers fly into the country from all over to buy gemstones from Kenya and also from the region. The export process is fairly easy from Kenya, so making Kenya a popular destination to buy gemstones from East Africa. Yeah.
Okay, and I mean, we really appreciate about VirtuGems. We found it outstanding is the effort that gems are cutted and polished in the countries. This is quite exceptional nowadays. And this approach allows countries of origin to keep more of the supply chain and therefore the value of the gemstones in country, and this significantly benefits local industries and the people involved in the stone cycle. That is what we all want. So this is happening in your country. And could you tell us a little bit more about the cutting and polishing process and how it has been implemented within VirtuGems? How do you train women?
So VirtuGem
Center, and what is the VirtuGem part of this work?
So VirtuGem only buys or deals with cut stones. So we work with a number of cutters from around Kenya. So it has been a process. So in the beginning, we had a lot of returns because of the polishing, especially with sapphire. Because we have to import everything into the country, including polishing powders and discs. And slowly by slowly, we have improved our cutting and we are having less returns. So when it comes to training, I train women and youth in the mining areas how to cut stones. in the mining industry, as Pauline said, even in Kenya, it is a male-dominated field. So the people who actually go into the mines and who own the mines are men. We have very few women owning the mines. So I decided to train women and youth to add value to these gemstones, so that they can participate in the whole gemstone value chain. And with VirtuGem, many of the people who work with us have come to realize that there's a very big difference between a rough gem and a cut gem. So they get much better margins when they cut their gems. So more and more people are cutting their gemstones. And with the guidance of VirtuGem, we are able to cut our stones to international standards. Such that there's no difference between a stone cut in Kenya and one which is cut in the US.
Okay, so there was a big change since you work with VirtuGems.
Yes, especially to do with the cuts that they like.
Fantastic.
Fancy cuts, traditional cuts. So yes, we learned a lot.
Fantastic. Ashley. Ashley from Malawi. Another passionate woman about another woman passionate about colored gemstones we have here. I think you were a local trader in Malawi before becoming the country coordinator for VirtuGem.
Yes.
And, you organized the gem cutting training for VirtuGem, and you're also very active in engaging local women in livelihood improvement through gemstone mining and value addition. And you're currently the vice president of the Federation of Women and Youth in Mining in Malawi, the chairperson, Malawi Women in Mining Association, Mavima, and a member of the Gemstone Association in Malawi. So maybe you can also tell us the situation in the mining industry in your country.
Thank you. In Malawi, for a very long time, women have been participating in the mining sector, only that not at a very large scale. Not at a very large scale, because this the industry is considered to be male dominated, and it's just now that we're getting more women are opening up to pursue the mining sector and actually add value to their stones, and they truly know how worth their gemstones are. So yeah, we are getting there in Malawi, yes. Yeah. So I'm also working with women in mining, training them how to actually grade the stones, because I noted my other that women are failing to properly grade the stones.
That was another thing, because VirtuGem has a big focus, and you have played a very important role in the implementation, as you applying in mines already the code, and you have developed VirtuCraft. Could you explain a little bit about the VirtuCraft and Craft code? What is it all about, and what difference does it make?
All right. VirtuGem, it's a number of tools that we use in identifying, but also making the miners, the owners of the mines, but also the actual miners on the ground, aware of what the things that are supposed to be done. it's been formulated in a way whereby they undergo training. We compile questions to do with labor, to do with health, to do with gender, just to find out how the miners are being treated on the mine, but also things to do with their safety in areas in terms of the actual mining, and also the trainings that they have to go through in terms of taking care of the environment after the actual mining has taken place. So we visit the mines, we go train, we ask the owner of the mine questions to do with the structure of the mine, whether they are mining legally, if the mine is registered, and if it's compliance with government law, like here in Malawi. So we start with the organization structure, the labor, the health, the gender, and just get engaged with the miners and find out if they are being provided with all the necessary equipment for their safety, and the Labor Law Employment Act, if they one of them.
How does it work? How do you approach the people, the mines? Do they come to you? Because what makes it attractive for them? What benefit do they have? I mean, of course they have the benefit of the standards, and but how do you contact with the mines? Because are they interested, or are you like the ambassador or coordinated and you approach the mines and you present the craft code? How can we imagine?
All right, first we identify the mine, then I approach the owner, then we schedule visits whereby I have to actually go to the mine, and I ask even I have to find the workers on site, because I have to find the workers on site and ask them questions and find out first from the owner if he is providing all the necessary requirements in terms of the areas that I had mentioned earlier on, and thereafter I go and engage with the miners and train them on things that they are not aware of. Then they become aware, and we carry it from there, so that we do assessments interval, like on intervals, whereby I find out whether what we had trained them, starting from the owner providing for the miners, and what also I had trained the miners, if they are actually putting it into practice and improving their well-being and the environment and everything that is to do with that mine. So it's us approaching identifying the mine, collecting all the data, identifying the areas where they may need the kind of training, and then schedule a meeting to go and do the exercise.
Mm-hmm. I would like to know how does it work, in the country? Do they know about the craft code? Why do they want to apply the craft code? What is this activist work you're doing in the countries to promote the craft code? Because maybe a mine owner would say, why do we need it? We are happy like this, or this is the important work, How does it work?
Yeah, well, for example, when Ashley recently did Virtue Craft in Malawi, there's like brochures to educate on, just to learn a little bit more about VirtuGem and why they might want to sell to the platform, and how being a part of Virtue Craft and like abiding by these practices would benefit for them, you know? And I think there's an understanding and sharing that.
Yes. So, I mean, they will be part of a community, and they will also have access like to a different market, world market, I guess. That is
Exactly. And there's more value added to the material coming out of their mine.
so.
And
There
there's one,
Yes, sorry.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, so it usually is a positive response, or is it? How is the response? Also,
I would say it is. I mean, I personally am not like in the country, so I think, you know, probably Ashley or Carol or even Pauline would be a better one to ask what the response is in country. But it, from what we hear, it's a positive response.
Mhm.
And I did want to add one other thing that about VirtuGem, and that we have a 10% premium to every gem sold. So that premium is a give back into the country from where the gem sold from. And, you know, from the beginning, when we were doing this out of COVID, you know, that premium went to food drives and things like this. It's gone to education for school fees. Recently, we were in Malawi. It was to fund a trip to do the Virtue Craft. And then in Kenya, Carol's helping to facilitate a mining camp in Voi.
So the Virtue Craft, just for the understanding, the Virtue Craft is like the project where you implement the craft code. So this
Exactly.
Okay, so this is the, yeah. Okay, so thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, fantastic. And maybe I would like to address again Ashley or Caroline or Pauline. How would you see the future with VirtuGems? What projects do you have? What you feel positive about what has happened so far? And I don't know who wants to start. What are your plans? Caroline, maybe?
Let's
What's
see.
the next
So
project? What's the next project? You heard about this fantastic project about the gem competition. I don't know if also you or your school have participated in the special cutting.
yes, we took part in the developing the Kenyan National Gem Cut,
Okay.
and we are cutting and sending the stones to the US. And there's even a jeweler who has made a finished article with one of the Kenyan National Gem Cuts. They used as golden tourmaline.
Ah, okay.
So, to make a bracelet. So yeah, it's very nice when we see our stones. We come from the rough state, and then they are cut, they're exported, and then somebody in the US or Europe puts them in jewelry. So it feels very nice to see our stones as a finished product. We never get to see that. So,
no? Okay.
No, never. So it's very interesting. So in the coming year, we're going to be having various workshops, and these workshops are very interesting and important. So we have workshops on health and safety for the miners and also for the cutters. Then we have workshops on pricing and workshops on jewelry. So yes, we look forward to learning, and we have these workshops as all the 3 countries, so we all learn from each other.
So you also like connect and communicate in between the countries. Susan, are you going there sometimes?
Oh yeah, we love, Jess and I both love going as much as we can.
Yes.
I love going to, I mean, we wanted to spend equal time in all the countries. So Malawi's behind. We owe Malawi a visit because the last couple of times it's been Zambia and Kenya. But yeah, we have a restaurant in Malawi that has really good carrot cake where we like to go in the morning. We have a good time traveling together as a team. So yeah, my goal this year is 2 trips to Africa rather than just one. So yeah.
And then when you go there, Susan, you go to the mines, you what the mines you're working together with, you go and visit them.
Yes. Yeah. So we do. We all went as a team. Was it 2 summers ago now when we were all together in Ndola for AJAC, which is it's a gem show that's put on now by African Union. And so we were all there together and we went to see an emerald mine and we had so much fun. We had a really good lunch there and toured the mine. So it's fun when we get to do that together as a team. We really enjoy that.
Nice. I mean, what I really learned is not only about your work in VirtuGems. I think it's fantastic that the 3 countries get together and get stronger together. It's another really interesting and strong factor in VirtuGems that you really give power to grow together.
Yeah. And we also are expanding. We do get asked to expand into other countries quite a bit. And we're always working on connecting with African women in mining associations in every country. So we are expanding probably into 2 different other colored gemstone countries and also into diamonds in Lesotho and Gabon. So we'll be expanding. We're very excited. We've already been working on the diamond expansion for a couple of years now. Jess and I visited Lesotho. We have a fantastic team there. So it's, and we really just do the same model that we've already done in the other, in the countries where we are expanding. And then we have all these experts like Carol and Ashley and Pauline that come in and say, this is what we've learned. This is how we bring in women into the mines. This is how we work on having cutting. So we're really excited about that.
Oh, yes, I can imagine that you really, it's big, lot of information you give one each other and grow and get bigger and get more countries. And that's another thing, of course, really interesting is the Virtue Diamond project you just mentioned. Tell us about it. I think it's a pioneer project. I think it doesn't exist so far.
Yeah.
Scale mining.
It again would be focused on ASM miners.
Yes.
Cutting in country as much as we can. Lesotho already has a diamond cutting school. And we also would be working in Gabon. There's no cutting yet, but I know that they really aspire to have diamond cutting in that country. So it would be bringing in the knowledge and the use of craft and helping to formalize and then creating open markets and creating market access for the ASM diamond miners. So we are...
Lesotho is in Central Africa, right?
Lesotho is in the middle of South Africa. It's in South Africa.
Sorry. Yeah, okay.
It's a beautiful country.
Yes.
It's a beautiful country with mountains. And we stayed at a ski resort when we went there. So if you can believe that.
Yeah. And they are already mining diamonds there, I guess.
ASM mining was legal and then it was illegal. And now it's legal again. In the community that we visited and that we are supporting a woman who used to be a miner, ASM diamond miner, when it was legal, we're supporting her to get her license. This is a community that lives below a diamond mine that mines some of the largest diamonds in the world, Gem Diamond Mine. It's UK owned. And this community has no electricity, no access to health care, and also difficulty with getting their children to school. They're very remote. So they really miss the ability to use diamonds to pay their children's school fees and healthcare.
Wow. So, I mean, so far there is no initiative like this. I think it's the first one, no, to promote a responsible diamond mining initiative.
Yeah.
What challenges you have? I think it's very hard and difficult and maybe dangerous also because it's very controlled. I think you have a lot of challenges.
Challenges are meant to be overcome.
I know, but so what is the situation then? Where can we buy, or when are they on the market?
We hope very soon. We had diamonds that we were planning on having ready for Tucson, but we lost out to the black market. So this is not uncommon in a lot of areas. I mean, because we needed paperwork, people weren't ready with paperwork, and also because the black market is offering cash immediately to miners that need cash immediately.
Oh, yes.
To eat or to pay their kids' school fees or to survive. And if you've got somebody who will say, no strings attached, here's the cash, let me have the diamonds, then we're going to lose out until we can work on gaining that trust.
Yes.
And it may be a while, but we're working on it and we know it's going to happen.
Yes, for sure it will going to happen, for sure. I'm really sure about it. And I would like to know, maybe now ending this conversation, where can people get these beautiful stones from Malawi, Kenia, Zambia, and soon Lesotho? How can jewelers buy them or contact you? And do they see the stones in the website? How does it work now? When, for sure, the people who see this dialogue, we want to see the stones, we want to buy them. How does it work? How can we pass the information?
Well, you can go to our website, which is VirtuGem.com. And then we are in Tucson and various, we're part of the ethical gem suppliers. So there's a few gem fairs that we do throughout the year, but they're, as right now, mostly US based. But VirtuGem.com, and then you could always just...
VirtuGem, you find the stones who are on sale at the moment.
Yes.
We also like to work with jewelry brands and jewelers. So if they want to work on a custom collection, that's something we really enjoy, with us having the background of jewelry designers and our team members like Carol, who's, a cutter as well. So we like to work on something like that. If somebody wants to do a collection with us, it's a wonderful way to support VirtuGem and for us to be able to highlight VirtuGem. So if you reach out through the website, you can ask us, I want to do something custom. I want to do a collection, special orders.
Okay. Yes, that's interesting. We should do this with a collective.
Oh, we'd love it.
Would be
We'd love to come to Spain.
Yeah.
Get our team to come together.
We should organize something. Also, maybe we will join you with a trip to, I don't know, one of the countries and meet these beautiful women and join you and see everything what you were talking about. It's so fascinating and incredible and moving, all the work you're doing, really. It's beautiful, all of you, what you're doing, and very interesting to hear your stories and all the effort you're doing and the changes you are creating and the energy. It's fantastic. I don't know if somebody wants to add something, explain something, tell something to us, to the community, to the jeweler who might hopefully watching for sure this dialogue. Maybe, yes. So you have the space. I don't.
I just want to thank you for the time and featuring us and letting us share our story with you and your audience. And really, really hope to connect to some of you soon.
Yes, for sure. Yeah, it's unique for us. I think there were not so many talks with you or with other people from the responsible jewelry sector or gemstone sector to the Spanish-speaking audience. I think there were some with Ana Maria in Colombia. She's also very active person in South America. So that's why for us it was important and very special to have you, and that we have the possibility to promote VirtuGems and your work, and hopefully connect you with the Spanish-speaking market. That's the goal, and to promote this path that we're sharing.
Thank
And
you.
Ashley, Caroline, or Pauline, I think she is gone. Maybe if you want to add something, you are welcome.
We look forward to collaborating more with you. We haven't sold any stones in Spain, so it would be interesting to see what your tastes are and what you're interested in. And you can make orders and you can cut the stones and source the stones for you according to your needs.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Okay.
Thank you.
Nice. Yes, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you, and talk to you soon.
Thanks.
For sure.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.